When you hear the words rules of counseling, what comes to mind? Probably a big list of don'ts, right? Well, let's flip that idea on its head. Think of these rules not as restrictions, but as a compass, a really reliable compass that keeps both you and your counselors safe and guides the entire therapeutic journey. Today, we're going to learn how to read that compass.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big picture, how counseling even became a profession. Then we'll zoom right into the heart of it all, that unique relationship you build with your counselor. We'll definitely tackle the big one. Are your secrets really safe? Then we'll get into the rules of engagement and wrap up by looking at some of the trickier issues counselors face today.
Okay, first things first, let's get some perspective. Counseling, as this formal, licensed profession we know today, well, it hasn't been around forever. It was built on the shoulders of giants over the last 100 years or so.
See, this whole thing didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It started way back with ideas about career and school guidance, and then you see these major turning points, like the creation of the APGA, which is now the American Counseling Association, and then, this is a big one, 1976, when Virginia became the very first state to license counselors. That really set the standard and changed the game, making sure the people you see are qualified professionals.
And this is a great way to see that counseling isn't just one single thing. It's this huge, diverse field. You've got specialists for mental health, for school counseling, for career development, even for marriage and family issues. But here's the cool part. They all operate under the same core ethical framework. It's like different branches of the same very sturdy tree.
So that brings us to the absolute core of all of this, the single most important element of good therapy. The relationship between you and your counselor.
Look, this isn't like any other relationship in your life. It's a professional partnership, and each person has a really important role. The counselor is there to create a safe space, to guide you, to support your growth. But your role, it's just as important. You've got to be an active participant. You show up, you dig in, and you work together to figure out your goals. It's a total team effort.
And this right here, this is so crucial. It basically says your counselor's job is to understand your world, not to try and get you to live in theirs. It's all built on this deep foundation of respect for who you are and what you believe. The focus is always, always on you.
Now, when we talk about boundaries, they can sometimes sound a little cold or rigid, but they are there for a super important reason. They protect the therapy itself. By avoiding what's called dual relationships, being a client and also a friend or a business partner, these rules keep the focus purely on your well-being. It keeps the path clear and safe.
That focus on safety leads us straight to what is probably the absolute cornerstone of trust in therapy: confidentiality. Honestly, without it, the whole thing just doesn't work. It's what allows you to be truly open.
The million-dollar question, isn't it? Is everything I say really just between us? The simple answer is yes, almost everything. Your privacy is protected with incredible seriousness, because without that feeling of safety, you just can't do the real work. But, and this is important, there are a few very specific, very rare exceptions.
And these exceptions all boil down to one word: safety. If there's a serious risk that a child is being hurt, that you're going to seriously harm yourself, or that you're going to seriously harm someone else, a counselor has an ethical and legal duty to step in. Think of it less as a rule and more as a critical safety net for everyone.
And in the US, this is all backed up by a powerful law called HIPAA. Now, you don't have to read all the legal text here, but the key thing to know is that this protection is incredibly broad. It's not just your session notes. We're talking everything: your name, your address, even your billing info. It's all considered protected health information, and it is legally guarded.
So how in the world are you supposed to know all of this stuff? The roles, the boundaries, the limits to confidentiality. Well, it all happens right at the beginning, through a really important process called informed consent.
Please don't think of this as just some boring paperwork you have to sign. Informed consent is actually the start of the therapeutic conversation. It's your counselor laying everything out on the table so you can make a smart, knowledgeable decision about your own care. It puts you in the driver's seat from day one.
And that conversation should cover all the bases. You absolutely have the right to know your counselor's approach, what the process might look like, what it's going to cost, and yep, those limits to confidentiality. The goal is no surprises, just clarity.
And this kind of gives you a peek behind the curtain at what the counselor's doing.
Good ethical practice isn't just about reacting to problems. It's proactive. They follow a step-by-step process to prepare for, explain, and constantly protect your privacy every step of the way.
All right, but that ethical compass becomes even more important when we start navigating some of the more complex, modern challenges that come up.
A perfect example of this is the difference between the duty to warn and the duty to protect. They sound almost the same, but there's a key difference. Duty to warn is very specific. A counselor might have to tell a specific person that a client has threatened them. Duty to protect is broader. It might mean calling the police about the threat or working to get the client hospitalized to prevent harm. Either way, the goal is always the same: prevent harm and keep people safe.
And of course, we have to talk about social media. In our totally connected world, those professional boundaries have to extend online. Counselors need to be really careful about their social media presence, keeping their personal and professional lives separate. This isn't just for them. It's to protect your confidentiality and the special nature of the therapeutic relationship.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? It's that this ethical framework, this counselor's compass, isn't just a rulebook for them. It's a bill of rights for you. It's the very thing that guarantees therapy is a safe, professional, and protected space for you to do your work. And understanding how it all works, that doesn't just demystify the process. It empowers you to be a confident, active partner in your own journey.